some guy, like just, it was like 11 p.m. Like some guy comes out of this front door kind of with his underwear on, and he's like looking out the window. And he's like, and it was hilarious.
The views and opinions expressed by our guests are their own and do not reflect the views, positions, or endorsements of the Skittle Squad Podcast or its hosts.
A quick note for audio listeners. Some parts of today's episode include visuals. If you want the full experience, catch us on YouTube or Spotify. Welcome to the Skittle Squad Podcast. My name is David Smith, and I'm here with my fantastic co-host.
I'm Paul Piper.
Hey, Paul, where are we? We're not in our normal filming location.
Where we're at. We're actually at the Mary Jean Hotel.
Yes, we're in St. Pete, Florida at the Mary Jean Hotel, and we're here celebrating Winter Pride. We have an amazing laser installation that's going to be lit later today, and we are with the artist of that laser installation, Yvette Mattern.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much.
We are so excited to be able to chat with you today. It's so important because I don't know if you're familiar with currently in St. Pete, really all through Florida, they were trying to erase LGBTQ murals. They were painting over our rainbow sidewalks. And so to have the opportunity to chat with you with this installation, it's called Rainbow Global. And to have these lasers literally shoot over the city, kind of just saying, we're here. It's just so exciting.
Thank you.
So maybe talk to us a little bit about what was your inspiration or what was your creative inspiration behind the laser installation?
Sure, I will. Thanks for having me on your podcast. It's amazing. I started in the film business, and so that was kind of my reference point, making movies, things like that. I moved to Berlin, Germany in 2009, and it just an entirely new world, it showed itself to me, which was the art world. And that was basically what was happening there. Okay. And so I thought, oh my God, like, how am I going to fit? I was a screenwriter, I was a professional editor, and I was like, well, I can make videos, maybe like video art, but I didn't really like the medium of video art because it was way too conceptual, very simple. Anyway, long story short, I was trying to figure out how to fit in as to kind of transition as a visual artist. Okay. And I had been invited to do this residency, and I started exploring light. And after I did this residency in England at the Baltic Center for the Arts, which is like this incredible place near Newcastle. And at that point, I did this massive light installation. I thought, okay, that's it. Light is my medium.
Awesome.
So then I was traveling. It was like a New Year's Eve. I used to live in Massachusetts. I was traveling through near Walden Pond. Okay. And there was this extraordinary rainbow, like just mind-blowing, very spiritual moment. And I was just like, my God, what is that? You know? So I thought, oh, that's it. I'm going to make a rainbow. I'm going to make a rainbow on the scale of a natural rainbow. Wow. So it took me several years to kind of figure out how I could manifest and actualize that idea and that vision. And I started looking at patents for rainbow making machines, things like that. And it was very, very difficult. You know, you have to have like the water droplets have to be a certain size. The light has to hit the water droplets at a certain size. And then it emits kind of this natural spectral rainbow, right? But my vision was to do it over the Brooklyn Bridge. You know, I think big.
That's amazing.
So, you know?
Yeah.
So eventually I was in Berlin, and they started at the time, this was, I've been doing this for 16 years, by the way. So at the time they started these kind of European light festivals, in cities. It became a real thing. So I was standing at this light festival in Berlin, and I saw this absolutely stunning kind of green laser that just traversed the entire sky. And I was like, there it is. That's it. That's exactly what I need. Wow. And it turns out that the person that beamed that green laser built these lasers here, Michael Solinger from Berlin, and he has a company called Laser Animation. Okay. So yeah, so that's kind of how it was born.
Wow, that is a great story.
Yeah.
So really it was just finding your niche and really just seeing like, where do I fit into the creative community? I can feel from you a huge creative energy coming through, which I love. Everyone knows I love energy. Paul knows that.
Yes.
I'm a big energy person.
That's great.
A little bit about the lasers themselves.
Sure.
And so are these lasers that you design them and then you actually travel the world with them?
I do.
Okay.
Technically I didn't actually build the lasers. It's quite at the time, this was like 2008, 2009. So I started contacting laser companies like, can you do this? And at the time they didn't have the full spectrum of colors.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So in a way, even though now they're like, we've been doing this since the 70s and like, that's not original. And I'm like, whatever. But basically.
Someone told you couldn't do it?
Oh
my goodness.
And,
well, you just go forward after that.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah.
So it was in a way kind of let's say I consider myself a bit of a pioneer with it because I think it gave the laser guys in Cologne, who I ended up working with initially, the impetus to do that, to really create this spectrum. And I went to their studio in Cologne, we checked it out. And the first time we presented them in Germany, full power, sorry, I'm getting far from the mic. We were using these water-cooled lasers that are like the sizes of like freezers and refrigerators, like massive. And so at that point I was like, oh my God, how am I going to be able to do this? Like to travel with it and things like that. The first one that I did in New York, we did use kind of cutting edge lasers, but the power was really low. I got amazing shots because it was incredible. It was like from JP Morgan's old penthouse at the top of Wall Street 1 building or something. It's a very famous place. So from that, it got me the gig in Berlin. But then from Berlin, we had this kind of technical challenge like, oh God, how do we tour this thing? Because we already started getting inquiries for the London 2012, actually, for people from the Olympics were already So eventually, we were able to, then my guys built this for me. But it took a couple of years to get this kit built because it was still a lot of experimenting with the laser industry.
It sounds like you were at the cutting edge of the technology and the innovation. Like you were right there when it was coming out.
I believe that in terms of spectrum, in terms of color, the green laser was always like, you've seen that green laser forever, right? Since the 70s in a way, the green laser was, you see it in discos, you see it everywhere.
I never really thought about it, but it was always a green laser.
It was always green.
It was always green.
Yeah, right.
Which I love that green. It's a cool green. It's like the great penis green in the room. That's why I was attracted to it. But so that's kind of the let's say technical evolution of it. I kind of experienced it. I'm not a laser expert, let's say, but I've learned a lot over the years.
So how many cities has Global Rainbow been presented in?
This is a good question. I'm not exactly sure the number, but it's been I think I've shown it at least 40 times. Since 2009. And it's been in the UK many, many times. It beamed from the Edinburgh Castle, which was an amazing presentation.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. It was so beautiful. And it was during COVID, because the princess determined that the rainbow was the symbol of hope in the UK
that's amazing.
During COVID. So I worked so much during COVID with the rainbow but I wasn't able to be there because of COVID. But I sent the equipment. But so the UK has been a big supporter. France, Germany, Berlin, South America. We did it in Argentina. It's been in so many places. It's hard to tell you exactly how many cities I should have. That's very
exciting, though. And then you mentioned you're a Malibu girl.
I am a Malibu girl.
And you said that you've had the lasers there too.
Yes.
In Malibu.
Yes.
I really want to dig into the symbolism of the lasers because, the LGBTQ plus community really strongly identifies with the rainbow.
Of course.
And I'm just curious, when you were creating this installation, was that any impact on you or was it?
Well, it is because I have a very personal story because I had a very, very close cousin who committed suicide.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And he grew up in a very small town where my father grew up in South Dakota. And we were born. I was born in '63. He was also that was like still, I think by the time 20 years later, that's what 63, 70, 83. Around this time, it was very difficult. So it was something that I've kind of dedicated it to him several times in Palm Springs Pride, things like that.
Oh, that's
so beautiful. It's always been part of who I am and part of my reality, part of my world. And, in terms of this one, in terms of doing the rainbow, it was just like, oh my God, I saw a rainbow. I want to make a rainbow, but it was never like directly connected to that.
That makes sense. But that's a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, that's very personal.
And what I like about this is that this is something that can't be erased.
Exactly.
The crosswalks can be, but this cannot be erased. And it sends a message to our legislatures that, the community will not be erased.
No way. Yeah. I mean, they've tried for years. They've tried for centuries. They've tried all of time to do that. Yeah. And at this point, through the 60s and 70s, there's been so much progressive movement, and suddenly we're back where in 1930.
No, right, exactly. So I would assume that there are some sort of challenges getting this going. What are some of the challenges that you've had to
politically, symbolically, technically?
Technically.
There, it's funny because like I said, I've been doing it for 16 years, and some years are really dry. Some years are like, oh my God, we've got 5 presentations. How do we do it? So, but I have to say, every time something comes up, there's always that little thing that comes up that you never thought about.
Right.
Like here with this tree, we had a 45-foot tree that somehow got in our way, which of course we had no way of determining that until the lasers turned on last night. So it was, and I've done that before. I did it for Miami Art Basel. Okay. And we had to cut the top of a tree and things like that. So I'm used to those kind of challenges, because you're dealing with, I have a canvas that's a city essentially, that's the sky and the city. And depending on, many times we've been able to do it where it's not terminated, where it just flows, and you can see it for 70 miles or something. It's crazy. Like visibly see it for 70 miles. Wow. So, but in areas like this, there are 3 airports here. Okay. So this location has actually been one of the most challenging technical locations that we've done.
How does that deal with the FAA and the lasers? Is there there's regulations to stay away from the airports and all of that? Or
well, we have to, absolutely. Okay. We can't shoot it, we can't have the direction go in the direction of an airport.
Right.
Okay.
So, and then what happened here is we've got 3 airports or maybe 4 airports. I don't know. There are many airports. Right. And as we were, with Rob and David here at Mari Jean, we're trying to determine there, and I'm in Malibu and, we're on the phone, they're sending photos from the roof and we're trying to determine, I'm on Google Earth the entire time. Like, oh my God, does this work? But we had to terminate it here because of the airport situation. So that was our challenge.
So how long will the lasers actually go? How many miles?
Here, they're going to go about 5 miles.
5 miles. Okay. And then they can be seen for how far away can they be seen from?
They can be seen from the end. Well, what's okay. So the key to seeing this is you want to follow the rainbow. Essentially, you want to be under it. As much as possible. Okay. Because once you're 90 degrees to it, then the colors kind of blend into one. So it looks white, right? So if you're coming at it like this, and then if you're coming at it 45 degrees, you see it better. Then you start seeing the colors. And then if you come at it right under it, then you see the full glory of it, which is really beautiful. Okay. So from here, for example, if you can walk it. Essentially, last night we were driving and we were going under it. Yeah. It's not on a clear, it would have been it's not like all the way down Central, for example, but it's but that's also part of the fun of it.
Of course.
Right.
Absolutely.
And also like last night as we were driving, like it was really funny because like some guy like just, it was like 11 p.m. like some guy comes out of this front door kind of with his underwear on and he's like looking out the window and he's like, and it was hilarious. That was just so beautiful. That's what I love about it.
That you say that because I actually saw a couple of Facebook posts where they were like, really? What was going on in St. Pete near Central because they didn't know what was happening.
Exactly. So, which is a good part of it.
Yeah.
Because people who would not necessarily even maybe want to come, let's say, as much as it's announced and told, suddenly it's there.
Right.
It's just a surprise. And it's a cool experience for people. I've had people come and stand and talk to me and have like therapy sessions for hours.
Wow. That's so interesting.
We'll say not therapy, but like, oh my God. Yeah. Like how much, like how, it was wild.
That is amazing. So the installation at St. Pete was given the name Global Rainbow, We Rise in Light.
Yes.
So I just want to kind of just call that out, kind of just kind of like we can't be erased.
No way.
Like Paul said, these lasers, they're here and they can't be erased. I do want to ask a quick question. What were you thinking when the Winter Pride executive staff like reached out to you? Like how do people get in touch with you for these installations?
Well, I have a wonderful woman named Allie who I knew from P-Town because we did a really beautiful, I think we did Provincetown twice.
Okay.
Or maybe even, no, I think twice.
Okay.
And it was just also one of the most resonant presentations that I've done or that I literally have done for Pride because they never had a Pride. P-Town didn't have a Pride.
I never knew that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it was in 2018, Robin, who was the executive director at the time, she just called me. They had no money. And she was like, can you please, and I was like, it's confidential, but yes.
Yay!
Because I just, sometimes I make money and sometimes I feel like it's just an important thing to do. Right. And it's not always about money.
Right.
Yeah.
So because now I own these lasers, so I can kind of call the shots,
Sure.
So Allie connected me to Rob.
Okay.
And then it started from there. We went
interesting.
From there. Yeah.
Okay.
So it has a legacy already coming in from P-Town.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I was chatting with her just a few minutes before
Allie.
we started.
Yeah, we know.
Oh my God, I love her.
They were on the show during the street fair. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Talking about the Zest Zone.
Yeah, talking about the Zest Zone.
Yeah, which is their business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's so funny. It's such a small world.
Well, it is, isn't it?
Yes, it really, really
but
is.
I think like when you're talking about energy, I think it's so much about energy,
Yeah.
And with the lasers, I started even trying to figure out like with the frequency, because there's so much about frequencies now, healing frequencies, things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So I started like studying the frequencies of the colors and is the combination of those colors and the frequencies that the lasers emit, is that a healing frequency?
Yes.
ChatGPT said not necessarily, but which I was a little disappointed in, but somehow there is something there.
Well, they're saying it's all that red light therapy or the red lasers. Yeah. There's all this new research coming out. I don't profess to know too much more, except it's supposed to be healing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I absolutely love that kind of that angle from there. I almost am excited for later, because I'll be able to kind of like literally just raise my hands up to see if I feel any energy coming. But the energy of the crowd alone will be a lot. It will be a lot. Yeah.
Yes.
So to wrap up, do you have any maybe final thoughts you would want to leave the audience with today? Maybe it could be like how they reach you, or it could be just a general like overall statement.
Well, I think, like as you're saying, the removal of these symbols and what is happening in this country is horrendous. It's horrendous. And we have to stay together. I think, women's rights, gay rights, the whole thing, right? Late 60s, I lived through it, 70s. And it's like, where are we? Like we cannot allow this to happen.
Yeah.
We cannot allow erasure. Mm-hmm. We cannot allow people to feel insecure or ashamed or and any of it. I mean, even as I'm Puerto Rican, you know, and with the ICE stuff, you know, it's like, you know, I mean, there's just so much fear right now.
Yes.
And this piece and what's happening here at Winter Pride for me is very much about eradication of fear, eradication of erasure, and power to fucking pride. Let's go.
Yes,
Love
absolutely.
it.
Power
Love it.
to fucking pride. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I will go down into the bottom of Paul's heart. But thank you so much for spending some time with
Darling,
us.
thank you for
It's been so
interviewing me.
impactful, and what you're doing for the community, being here, is probably more impactful than anyone could ever really realize, like you were saying. So thank you so much.
For sure. Aww.
Thank you.
So we are super excited. We're going to wrap up here, and they're going to light the lasers, and we'll be filming all of that. So stay tuned.
Cool.
Like, follow, and subscribe to the Skittle Squad Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and all social media platforms.
Right now, the lasers are about to go off. We are super excited. We are on the roof of the Mary Jean Hotel, and the lasers are going to be going off in just any moment.
Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God.
Look at that!
Wow.
Oh, I love it.
That's gorgeous.
I'm like at a loss for words
I am.
for a change.
I am at a loss of words. It is absolutely
It
gorgeous.
is gorgeous.
For everyone that may not know, we've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple.
Yep.
Yes. Which, do you have a favorite color out of those?
Oh, purple. My wedding was in
That's
purple.
right.
My wedding
Your
was
wedding
purple.
was in purple.
Yeah,
Yes.
So definitely.
I think blue. I've always been a blue person. That blue is gorgeous.
It is. It's very gorgeous.
I have never seen a laser with that color blue before.
No,
It is absolutely gorgeous.
no, this is absolutely spectacular.
That wraps up our episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. Special thanks to Yvette Mattern, the artist for the Global Rainbow laser installation here in St. Petersburg, Florida.
And we'd also like to give a special thanks to the Winter Pride crew, Rob Hall, the executive director, Gabe Valdez, David Fisher, Lee Manuel, and all the wonderful volunteers for Winter Pride. We couldn't do this without you. We feel honored to be a part of it, and thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for watching. Please follow us on our socials, subscribe to our YouTube channel, share with your family and friends. It makes a difference. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Happy Winter Pride.